Okay, so according to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, there's over 500,000 people in the United States that are homeless. And as we know, we're not very good with numbers, so through in the population of Lawrence, like we can imagine all of Lawrence maybe, is 90,000. We just multiplied our city times 6, we still wouldn't reach the homeless population of the United States, which I feel is pretty sad because I feel like an entire city, especially number 5 in Kansas, in terms of population, which I got from the United States Census Bureau, we should at least have more people than we have homeless. Well, in large cities, it's a big problem that homeless people beg all the time, where they actually have to make laws against it and against people even giving food to homeless people without begging. This has come up a few times, like in Newark, New Jersey, where the Department of Health and Community Wellness had to start making people have to have a permit to give food away. Like even churches have to have a permit to give food to homeless people and have food drives or anything like that. In Memphis, another law they did there was they made it illegal to panhandle. You can't ask for money. And according to the United States Criminal Justice Legal Foundation, there are over 200 different cities that have laws against panhandling in some way. So what we're going to bring to Lawrence, hopefully, is Crews and Cooks, which is our food truck that will be traveling to help homeless people, and we want to accept money as a donation, as like a pay what you can thing, so we can keep funding to go on and continue feeding homeless. What we'll be covering pretty much is these following 5 points: the cost of implementation, source of funding, how we're going to be implementing our methods, the purpose, and success stories that happened around the country other than ours.
All right, so according to Douglas County and the City of Lawrence, there was a study done at the end of 2014 or end of 2015 showing that the homeless population rose from 223 in 2014 to 296 in 2015. Now, there were a number of issues that arose from this. The Sheffield Place homeless shelter ran out of space, and they ended up moving to accommodate the rising homeless population in Lawrence. Now these numbers, the 296 homeless people in Lawrence, only account for the literally homeless. Literally homeless means they reside in public places like under a bridge, on the streets, a park, that's where they sleep, or in a shelter. And not literally homeless or on the verge of being homeless is a population that isn't counted in the Douglas County homeless person survey. Now, there are a number of women who have children who protect their kids from the streets by sleeping on friends' couches or in friends' houses, or having their kids stay at friends' places for a while, and this skews these numbers. So, according to David Hanslick, the director of Sheffield Place, there are a lot of these women here in Lawrence. All right, so homelessness versus food insecure. When we say homeless, they are completely without a home, and it can be assumed that they are also in need or going to be in need in the future of food assistance. Now, there are many people in the United States, not just in Lawrence, that are food insecure but not homeless. Food insecure means that they can't guarantee that they are going to be able to have food on the table every night. Now, this graph shows the distribution of food insecure population in the United States, and you can see that Kansas has a population of 18 to 21% percentage rate for food insecure people. So that's a fifth of the Kansas population that is food insecure. Now, not literally homeless, just food insecure. Now, according to the McSilver Institute for Poverty Policy and Research, children with food insecurities in their early childhood stages have been shown to have adverse effects on health, growth, and academic and development. So they're put behind just by being food insecure. All right, now a food truck, and our proposed food truck would give some of these mothers and homeless people a socially acceptable way to acquire food. They've got a number of different food resources already here in Lawrence, some of which aren't completely reliable, some of which are only open 1 hour a day for only 4 days a week, like Link. Link last year served 19,750 guests and over 27,000 meals. Now that's being open 4 days a week, 1 hour a day. If we increase that, it would skyrocket the number of meals that they would be able to serve. So there are also a number of food pantries here in Lawrence, but some cons with these food pantries are limited supply, they only survive on donations, and there are a couple food pantries that are walk-in basis, or you have to call beforehand and make sure that they have food, or they're only available once a month, which means if you go there and get food once every month, that's one meal for 1 day. So you have to figure something out for the rest of it.
Yeah, so Hayden talked a little bit about the literally homeless. So I'm going to take a closer look at the people in risk of just hunger. So there's 49 million people in the United States alone that are just at risk of hunger. That's not even including the actual homeless population. 16 million of those are children. So to give you guys kind of an idea of what that would look like you picture Allen Fieldhouse, that's 16,000 people. So this number, 49 million, you could fill Allen Fieldhouse 3,000 times over with that number, which is just a ridiculous amount. If you want to click to the next one. So that was according to the USDA study that was conducted, and this is also a number that came out of that same study, which states that 48% of the homeless population have mental health problems, and another 40% have some type of mental or physical disability, or another 40% have a type of drug or alcohol related addiction. So to give you guys an idea of what that would look like, if we divided this class in half, saying that everybody in here makes up the homeless population, half of this class would have a mental illness or physical disability. So that's kind of a scary number to think about. And then, so another kind of similar service to ours is the Meals on Wheels, and our service would be kind of replacing this dire need, because I don't know if you guys have heard, but Meals on Wheels is facing budget cuts as a result of President Trump's new plan. So they serve 2.4 million people. If they cut money to that program, that would result in a lot more people going hungry. And so no funding equals no food for these people. So our kind of service is a way to kind of fix that need, or like fill that gap that's being taken away to the homeless people.
All right, and with this brings us on to how we, as the Cruising Cooks, plan to impact Lawrence as a community. So we plan to team up with local food services around Lawrence in order to provide food to the homeless and the food insecure, while also acting as a regular food truck to those that just want a normal food truck going around the city. And that means that we're going to use the pay what you can model. So our menu will have a set menu, we'll have a theme and everything, and they will have prices that a usual food truck would put on their food, but no one has to pay them. Any payments that people make on the food will just be considered as a donation that will go right into funding future food and other endeavors that we plan to do. And so according to Intuit, they said that this model it works all the time, but what you have to do is you have to reduce your overhead costs. So how we plan on doing that is through how we get our food, which is going to be through food pantries and through a website known as, or an organization known as Imperfect Produce, which I'll cover in a little bit. And with that way, we'll cut our overhead costs and we'll be able to keep going. So the cost of implementation is mainly why we're here requesting the $25,000 of grant money. It's just to get us to be able to purchase the trailer and everything like that. So we decided to go with the trailer, a food trailer, which is made specifically for delivering food, and it would be around a $10,000 trailer. That exact one is priced at that. And then outfitting it with the state-of-the-art accommodations such as refrigerators and ovens and everything will cost around $15,000. Plus, Lawrence has a food vending license that will cost another $300. So, all right. So, how we plan on keeping that going once we have acquired the trailer and everything is through getting our food from places like Just Food in Lawrence and Harvesters, and also through Imperfect Produce. Imperfect Produce is an organization that takes all of the produce that is the thousands of tons of produce that's thrown out annually for not looking good, even though it's perfectly fine, it just doesn't look good on a shelf, and they sell it back to the population for around 50% off. So we'll be able to get fresh produce for the homeless for half the cost. Also, the truck to pull the trailer, it would initially be provided by me, but would then be requested by volunteers in order to own trucks, to bring their own trucks, and we go through a slight driving test and a background test just to make sure they know how to drive with the trailer. But that's the convenience factor, is that they don't need a specific license in order to drive a food truck. They can bring their own truck and take people. We would also work specifically with KU in order to get volunteers, mainly through Greek Life, because they're always needing service hours, along with other volunteer clubs such as the House the Hawks Built and areas like the St. Lawrence Center. And so why we chose a trailer instead of a food truck is mainly because of cost and because of convenience. So a food trailer is around half the cost of a food truck, and we will be able to, once, like I said before, any volunteer will be able to drive the trailer around. Plus, we plan on possibly doing a catering along with this, which means that the truck would be able to detach from the trailer in a populated area, leaving the trailer to still sell food, but then the truck would be able to make special deliveries either to an elderly person's home or possibly even cater to local businesses like Chipotle and Chick-fil-A do. And that would be another source of revenue that we're basically killing two birds with one stone.
So the purpose of our nonprofit organization and the service that we'd be providing in the community is basically to provide a convenient way for people who are food insecure to get free meals. With our food truck, the route wouldn't change. It'd be the same set route every day. So people would know where to be and at what time in order to get food. And people with disabilities could stay in the same place all day and be able to get their food. There is a nonprofit food kitchen in Wichita, Kansas, run by the Catholic Diocese of Wichita. It's called the Lord's Diner, and it also operates 3 food trucks in the Wichita area. So some numbers here for how many they've served. Truck number 1 was opened in September 2013, and they've served 393,000 people so far. Truck number 2 opened in June 2014, and they have served 467,000 people so far. And because of the high demand, truck number 3 was opened recently in the fall of 2016, and they've served 45,000. Those numbers are from 2 months ago, so they've served more by now. So as we mentioned, the Cruising Cooks would sort of serve as an alternative to Meals on Wheels. If Meals on Wheels is defunded, then obviously there's going to be more people in need of meals. And the Cruising Cooks would be run off of private funding from work grants from organizations, donations from the community, individuals. And so we wouldn't be susceptible to President Trump's budget cuts or any future budget cuts from the government. And also we would hope that the Cruising Cooks could show others that you don't necessarily need government funding to help alleviate the hunger crisis in America, so you can start your own organizations.
Again, what we want is to help the people that are in need of food in some way. But we're also there to just serve people. Like anywhere, we want to make money to expand out of Lawrence if we can. The design, pay what you can, benefits of it. We're mobile. We will go past people that are homeless on the. We will stop for them if we see them, offer them food. Another benefit would be the opportunity for expansion, like getting out of Lawrence, going throughout the nation and helping people. Thank you.
Any questions for this group? You guys are off the. Oh, we have one.
Will your organization present resources for the homeless population to help get out of poverty, like networking and like job preparedness resources?
The Sheffield Place Homeless Shelter has a lot of those programs already in place. We are specifically looking to provide food so that they don't have to worry about providing food for their families or themselves. So we focus on just feeding them. Yes.
So you're gonna have a consistent route. How do you deal with if some of the homeless population learn the route and start overcrowding some of these areas, kind of like a mob effect following the truck around the city?
So we have taken that into account, and that's why our route is going to be pretty spread out. And our hopes with that is that the homeless, we want them to possibly stay on the route, but if we spread the route out enough, then they won't clump up in certain areas. And so that's our main plan.
The route also includes going up to Sheffield Place and other areas that are like homeless shelters or other areas that they're normally at. So wouldn't draw them away from there.
Thank you.